Alright, so we're sitting outside the boatyard. Hopefully today is the day that we pull out. We get hauled out and the truck shows up. We were supposed to be hauled out at noon. It's 12:15. We actually just got here because we hadn't heard from the trucking company. So this is where we're at, and we're in a holding pattern. To find some videos on what it looks like when somebody ships a boat, or trucks a boat for that matter, and what preparation needs to be done, because there wasn't just a whole lot, we couldn't find a whole lot of stuff. So we've been trying to take photos and update, and we're not really the best at it, but so here's what the inside of the boat looks like. We've got up in the forward berth here, we've vacuum sealed all of our clothes. We've got the mast pulpits in there. The Tupperware containers are pretty secure in here. Way up at the front by the chain locker is Travis's scuba gear, or just his wetsuit and whatnot. But you know, the hat should all ride pretty good. We took most things out of compartments. We feel like these things will ride up here okay. Not gonna be a whole lot of heeling. Probably more bouncing. We've got the mast, and not the mast, the boom, and the pole, whether it be a whisker or a spinnaker, we are not exactly sure, but it is right here, and it stretches all the way back past the nav station. And it's secured here. And wrapped up with the bubble wrap, and then tried to secure it as much as we could just to avoid damage to it and the wood. But the nav station's been cleaned off. Those red bungee cords we'll use to tie down the tiller out there, because we need to secure the tiller. We also did secure up the wind vane as much as we could, so it isn't bobbing around back there. Inside the main salon here, again, just our Tupperware containers that we use for storage. Our yoga mats, hopefully add a little bit more cushion. Over here we have all of our extra sails. We have extra sails underneath the bed too, or underneath the settee. And then our solar panels are all right there. We have 3 solar panels. These little devices back here, these orange triangle things, are the bars that we use to secure it to the arch. So, you know, we got a few more things just to kind of tuck away when the truck does get here. The bathroom, I just resecured the toilet, the head, and because it is a composting and it doesn't fit perfectly tight, we've got it secured with some Dyneema. It's tied down that way, and I think this will ride okay. We'll make sure it's flat, but I think everything else will ride okay. You know, I know there's going to be a lot more vibration. Again, not so worried about, you know, when we're sailing, we're worried about things heeling over and what that effect is going to be, things falling off. So this is going to be more of a vibration from the road. So I'm not too worried about things toppling over like when we're sailing, more when just vibration and any damage that may cause. So we have secured we put tape on the cabinets. I just taped the front of the oven, hopefully closed. This thing does lock in place, so you have to lift up on it to open it up. But again, that vibration is going to be different than what we normally experience in the boat. So we've got some tape holding the cabinets closed. We're going to do a trial with this one lone spice container and see how that does.
Graceful.
Al, that's your middle name. So we're just waiting.
Closer than we've ever been.
We've been delayed on this move so many times, and we weren't even really sure today's going to happen. So, thinking good thoughts. We're in a prime area for them to see us, so hopefully if the truck does show up, or when the truck shows up, then we'll be able just to slide right out and slide into the sling and get out of here. But the cruddy thing is the boatyard doesn't seem to work past like 2, maybe 3 o'clock, and it's already like 12:15, 12:30. So, we're not sure what that means, and we'll kind of just go from there. So. We really felt like we had waited and waited for the boatyard to start the hauling out process. And once it began, it felt really rushed. So we both got off the boat and stood there on the slip and watched as the very experienced crew at Shelter Island Shipyard pulled the boat forward and into the awaiting sling. And that was very exciting to watch. So the full keel of our boat is causing some issues with the sling. Looks like they have to tie the sling in place so that it doesn't slip off, which is a-okay, but we at least are getting onto a sling, which is so big. So big. Once the boat was out of the water, they sprayed it down just to knock off anything that was stuck to the bottom, any wildlife or anything that had grown there. The whole time we had the boat in San Diego, we had a guy come in and clean the bottom of the boat at least monthly. I affectionately refer to him as our bottom guy. It really is a sight to see. Your sailboat getting lifted out of the water and gently placed over a trailer where someone you've never met before puts padding and poles in place to hold your boat as it makes the transit across the roadways of America. You really have to have faith in the quality control divisions of the trucking company. But we found our driver, Daniel, from Ultimate Trucking, was a great guy with a witty sense of humor. He had been working in the oil fields prior to COVID and had just been laid off. I learned all of this after asking, "Hey, how many boats have you transported?" He said, "1, including yours." I hope he was joking. Once the boat was mostly secured and we were mostly done supervising Daniel, we left and headed towards Wickenburg, Arizona to Grandma Pat's house, picked up our trailer and our motorcycles that she had so graciously stored for us all winter. Then it was off to Kemah, Texas. Daniel decided to stay in San Diego that night since we had kind of loaded the boat late, and then he didn't have the required permits to be able to drive in California, so we were actually a few days ahead of him getting into Texas. The truck actually got to Kemah on Saturday. We went over on Sunday and did some minor work that we needed to do to the exterior of the boat before it got put in the water. And then we were ready to put it in the water on Monday morning. Once we got to the shipyard, Daniel took his personal vehicle to go run an errand, so we kind of were in a standstill until he showed back up. But these are the folks from Sticks and Riggins who are going to help us with the mast. We've got some work to do on it, but they seem very squared away and very helpful folks. We used Seabrook Marina Shipyard to splash the boat, Sticks and Riggins for the mast and the standing rigging, and Tom May for attaching the arch and the hard dodger that we'll be adding. The boat won't be sail ready for probably a month or so, and the work we're getting done now will last several years, and it made sense to complete the work now while the mast is down already than to pay them to do all of this again in a year or so.